Okay, welcome everybody to this Hangout on Air. Very happy today to be talking about Hangouts and Chromebox for meetings. So we're going to be talking about some recent changes we've made and some innovations in the meeting space, and really talk about how we are enabling better meetings for everyone and giving that face-to-face experience no matter where you are. So. Really just to kick off, I want to start with some introductions. So my name is Rob Gray. I work in the product marketing team here at Google, and my only role today is as the moderator. So I'm kind of emceeing this session, and the real experts here are Ronald and Vidya. Ronald and Vidya are product managers at Google, and their sole focus in life is on making video meetings awesome for your business. And as you know, Google Hangouts, many of you are probably familiar with that. It's a service that enables Google Apps users to easily connect with each other. But we've also invested in making meeting rooms much better equipped for meetings with some purpose-built equipment that you can use to upgrade any room in your organization with Chromebox for meetings. So, yeah, if you think about the world of video conferencing today, I think we all really get the value of video conferencing and that experience of face-to-face meetings no matter where you are. But very often there's a disconnect in that the people that have access to meeting rooms that are equipped with high-end video conferencing equipment are maybe just the executives of the company, or it's just the ballroom that's equipped with these expensive video conferencing units. In fact, our data suggests that 39% of directors have access to video conferencing equipment, 22% of senior managers have access, but yet only 11% of contributors, or the people that are actually doing the work on a day-to-day basis, have got access to this technology, and they're really the ones that need it most. So one of the things we're really trying to do at Google is to democratize this technology and really make it available for anyone to experience the benefits of these face-to-face meetings no matter where they are in the world. If you think about how meeting rooms actually have evolved over the last 10 or 15 years, the answer is not much at all, actually. So often you go into a meeting room and there's maybe there's a desk, there's a whiteboard if you're lucky, there's some pens and a notepad. Sometimes there's a projector with a bunch of cables that you have to figure out, but more often than not, there's just maybe there's a phone unit for people to dial in, and that really hasn't changed in 15 or even 20 years. The second thing is it's not always easy to book a meeting room, or if you walk into a room, it's very difficult to know whether that room's actually been booked, or whether it's available, what meetings are going on, if it's free at the moment, when is it next being booked by someone for a meeting. And the last thing that is often very difficult, and many of you, certainly I've experienced it in my life, is that you walk into a meeting room, maybe people arrive, they sort of roll in 5-10 minutes late, and then there's like another 10 minutes spent on trying to get the cable working so that someone can project their slides. And these are all problems experienced by a high number of our customers, and something we really wanted to solve and make significantly simpler than it exists today. So our main goal at Google in making meetings easier is that we want everyone or anyone in the organization to be able to easily meet with anyone else, whether they're in the office in the meeting room, whether they're on a device, whether at the airport, whether they're at home. We just want to make that simple and easy. And I think as companies become more global, people need to start working outside of the office. So it's not just working from home, it's working from different countries, maybe different cities. Different types of offices, so often there'll be a headquarters that's got a lot of high-tech equipment, and then some of the satellite or remote offices often end up with not much high-end equipment at all. And we want to really enable people to connect from wherever they are and really experience that face-to-face conversation. So we've made a bunch of changes and innovations over the last few months in a number of areas. So just enhancements to the Chromebox for Meetings devices and service, and also making Google Hangouts ready for business. So I guess to start off, I'm gonna hand over to Ronald. And Ronald, if you could just explain to us what does this actually mean? So we talk about Google Hangouts being ready for business. What does that actually mean for our customers, and what have we done?
Sure. Thanks very much, Rob. I'm really excited to be here. I think last month you saw that we rolled out a bunch of changes for Hangouts and really started putting forth the Hangouts as really ready for your business, your work, your school. A few of those big changes involved first supporting the product and adding it to our core services so that it's on the same level as Gmail and Drive in terms of reliability, supportability, etc. We also made it much easier for any user to jump into a Hangout, to start a Hangout or join a Hangout for businesses and schools. This includes whether or not they're using Google Talk, whether or not they're using Google Hangouts, whether they have a Google Plus profile or not. In any of these roles, anyone can still join a multi-way video call. As Rob said earlier, it's all about democratizing Hangouts and democratizing the video call and making everyone feel like they are senior management. So I think a few of the other things we did is starting to extend a lot of those controls that you expect in a business meeting for your Hangout, including ejecting a guest from a Hangout, for example. So diving a little deeper into what this actually means when we say it's ready for business or we have enhanced support. In the next slide, you'll see that this is really about making sure that it is covered under our business terms of service for both Google Apps for Business users and Google Education users. This is backed by our 24/7 support, which we've actually offered this past year, but now it is on the app status dashboard as part of the core services. This means a 99.9% guaranteed uptime for the Hangout video calls, and it also means that we've gone through all of the certification processes for key ones like ISO 27001, SSAE 16, and a couple others. This means that you can be sure that Google is going to be handling data in a very secure way, and also going through very strict development processes to roll out the highest quality products out there for you. And when we say video calls for all, again, I mentioned earlier, whether you have a Google Plus profile or not, or whether you're using Google Talk or Hangouts Chat, you can still jump into a multi-way video call or add a multi-way video call to Calendar or create one on the fly. Some of my personal favorite ones that we don't really talk about that much is some of the short links, for example, g.co/presents or g.co/hangout. If you put the meeting name after that, g.co/hangout/ your meeting name, you'll be able to immediately jump into a Hangout. I can say, hey Rob, let's go to team-meeting, and Rob needs to type g.co/hangout/team meeting, and it automatically jumps him into that room. And often my other favorite one is walking into a meeting room. No more are we fumbling with cables or looking for the right projector or booting up the projector. All I need to do is sit at my computer and type in g.co/present/ the meeting name, and my screen is immediately shared with everyone else on the Hangout. So stuff like that reduces kind of the Hangout time from multiple minutes down to 5 seconds, for example. So that's a really key piece. That's a really key piece for us. And what we've also done is one single click from a Hangout can enable us to one single click from a calendar event, can allow us to join Hangouts directly from our computers. And we're working to make that a lot easier. We've rolled this out to our rapid release domains a couple weeks ago, and targeting this week to get this out to scheduled domains. So when we say that meetings are available to kind of all, internal or external, we want to make it extremely easy for anyone that you invite to jump on into the meeting. All they need to do is have a Google account, and they can jump into the meeting and take part. For example, a couple key companies and customers that we've had that are pretty excited about this. One of my favorite stories is how CBC Radio Canada used this as part of their Sochi Olympic broadcast. They were literally coordinating and dialing in between Canada and the slopes of Sochi. And another one that is something that I have actually used before in here at Google is the way that Oscar W. Larson uses it as part of their daily work when they're, for example, have folks and engineers in the field who are actually viewing pipes or any other fixtures. They actually will use Hangouts, video Hangouts, to actually show and look at and share documents back and forth. So these are just some of the ways that folks are using. These are just some of the ways that folks are using Hangouts today as a key part of their business.
Okay, great. Thanks, Ronald. I think that was a great intro to what we've been doing. I think certainly for me, one of the key things around you mentioned, you talked about internal, external meetings with anyone. Something I do pretty much on a daily basis is connect from a device of some sort, whether it be a mobile phone or a laptop. One of the things I really love, that I guess is a new product we released this year, is around Chromebox for meetings. So I want to hand over to Vidya, and let's talk a little bit about Chromebox for meetings. For those that may not be familiar with it, Vidya, could you give us an intro to Chromebox for meetings and what it is, what you get in the box, and how it all works?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Ronald, again. And just to kind of reiterate what Ronald said, so in addition to meeting from anywhere, you can also meet from any device, and Chromebox for Meetings allows you to do that. So Chromebox for Meetings is a room system. It includes an i7 Chromebox that's built by trusted brands like ASUS and Dell. It includes all the accessories that you need and a service from Google, which is Google Hangouts, and it lets you run and manage meetings for your organization. All you need to do is bring your own display and a meeting room. And Chromebox for Meetings runs Hangouts, and you get the benefits of the latest Hangouts capabilities, an always up-to-date operating system in Chrome OS with regular security updates, and it supports HD quality video and up to 15 simultaneous video streams. And all of this is available at a price point of under $1,000, and this includes hardware, software, and an annual management and a support fee. So one of the things that you will notice with a Chromebox for Meetings room system when you walk into a meeting room are the pretty pictures in the background. Starting a scheduled meeting in the room couldn't be easier. No more complex dial-in codes or scrolling through what other rooms to invite. You just need to click one click on the remote to join a meeting. Ending a meeting is equally simple. Just click on the hang up button on the remote. But not all the meetings are scheduled in advance. Often enough, even at Google, meetings are very spontaneous. And for example, you could be asked to, jump into this meeting room, Rob. And here, Ronald can ask Rob to join an urgent meeting, say, named Tofu. And Rob can then pick up the remote, and then he can flip the remote over and type in the keyword Tofu in the keypad. And then automatically, once he clicks the enter button, he is in the meeting called Tofu. So spontaneous meetings are really super easy. And if you're like me, projecting a laptop screen to a monitor can also be comically complex. Now with Chromebox for Meetings and with Hangouts in general, you no longer need to fumble with complex cables and adapters. You can now instantly share your slides or your desktops wirelessly. No more wires. There's no more confusion about how you connect your device to project your presentation. Simply type in a short URL called g.co/present. This is a short URL that is universally available to all the domains and organizations out there. Simply fire up a browser and type in the URL g.co/present in your browser, and you're there wirelessly screen sharing your desktop. In addition, with Chromebox for Meetings, the setup experience is super simple. To set up a room, there are a few simple steps that you need to do. Plug in your display, and the maximum resolution that you need is about 1280 by 720 pixels. And Chromebox by itself supports both HDMI as well as a DisplayPort. You then need to complete the setup wizard. It's a very simple wizard which goes through a few steps to test your camera, to optimize and tune your microphone and a speaker, and then to enroll your organization, your device to your organization, so that you can actually manage the devices, the fleet of Chromebox and meetings devices all over your enterprise. And then you assign a room calendar. After that, you're done. It's that simple. So we've got a couple of announcements to make, as Rob mentioned earlier. We've been listening to customer feedback, and we've been hearing from our customers that they would like to use Chromebox and meeting devices to support rooms of different sizes. We're excited to announce support for dual monitors to expand into the larger meeting room. So now you can connect 2 displays to one Chromebox for Meetings device to see your audience in one display and project your presentation on the other. And if you've ever wanted a dedicated room system for your home office or your desk, new personal calendar integration makes that possible. With new personal calendar integration, now you can easily use and set up your own personal Chromebox for Meetings device. Now you can simply call a phone number directly from your Chromebox for Meetings device. You no longer have to open up your laptop to dial a phone number to invite a colleague on the road. This feature is in Trusted Tester, and it's rolling out to domains this week. So stay tuned. One of the key benefits of Chromebox for Meetings is that you can remotely manage your fleet of Chromeboxes from a web-based central management console. Before a meeting is about to start, you can go to the console and you can remotely connect and start up several Chromebox for Meetings devices, hang up, or even mute a call. There are several other admin controls, such as scheduling device reboot frequency, controlling OS updates, setting the time zone, among others. It might be worth reinforcing and calling out how seamlessly updates are applied to the platform as new features are released and the software is improved. Upgrades will not occur in the middle of a call, so there will be no service disruption whatsoever. All upgrades and changes will be batched and released once the service is actually dormant or idle, not in use. So our current offering for sale in the market is from ASUS, and Dell will soon be releasing a Chromebox for Meetings room system very soon. For customers who've got needs to operate with H323 and SIP-enabled video conferencing systems, Video and Blue Jeans, our partners, offer interop capabilities, and participants from other systems can easily join a Hangout very easily. And to allow audio participants to join a Hangout easily, our partners Intercall and Uber Conference have Hangout apps that make this very possible.
Great, thanks, Vidya. That was a great introduction and overview of Chromebox for Meetings. One of the important things that is that there's been great momentum around the product. We've seen a lot of customers really loving Chromebox for Meetings and really adopting it quickly. And we've made a number of international launches in the past few months. So we launched in the US and soon after Canada. We're available in Australia and New Zealand. And then just a few weeks ago, we launched in Japan and the UK. So really great momentum, and we're really committed to making this available in more and more countries. So you can purchase a Chromebox for Meetings through any of the resellers in any of these launched countries. It's been really interesting to me to speak to many of our customers that have been early adopters of Chromebox for Meetings. And what really fascinates me about how customers are using products in ways that we didn't expect it. So there's kind of obvious things that you would expect, like employees in remote offices doing video meetings from conference rooms. There's always like an always-on scenario, and this was pretty interesting to me. So, for example, it could be a group of engineers in one city that need to collaborate with a group of engineers and developers that are in a remote office. And instead of scheduling meetings for frequent connections or ad hoc meetings with each other, they actually just leave this connection on all the time. So it's like a window from one office into the other. And if someone wants to just get up and talk to another developer, they can just get up and go to the this big screen in their office and very easily speak to a developer in another office. So it almost enables this co-location of engineers in a way that really wasn't done before. And it's not a scenario that we expected to use, but it is a pretty high use case. There's also the sort of other intended usage of people connecting on different devices. But we hear this a lot, like someone will be in a meeting room, they'll initiate a meeting, someone will join from a mobile phone, a video conference when they're on the road or in an airport. It could be a remote worker joining from a laptop at home, or even a number of people we've spoken to have equipped their home office with Chromebox for meetings, just to enable that seamless and great video conferencing experience, but from home. And I think the price point is really something that enables that. It just makes it accessible. It's affordable to be able to equip your home office with a purpose-built device now. Lastly, one of the scenarios we've seen is I'd probably describe it as a virtual 24/7 help desk, where end users or customers can actually call into a Hangout for help, and there's always someone on the other end that's waiting to kind of help them out in person. So yeah, with that, I'd like to thank Ronald and NVIDIA for giving us a great intro and getting us up to speed around what these recent changes are, how the stuff all works together. And I'd like to move on to Q&A now. So we've received a number of questions from the audience, and I'm just going to go through these, and I'm going to read it out, and hopefully be able to get through most of these by the time we're done. So, Ronald, I think this one's for you. First question is, okay, talking about these changes in Hangouts, what do administrators need to do to see these changes?
Nothing. I think this is it's a pretty straightforward. This is probably one of the most boring releases we've done. We enabled it so that any user, whether they are Google Talk users or Hangouts chat users, whether they have G+ or not, they can automatically get multi-way video calls today. At the end of the month last month, we just rolled it out so that any video call that you were in, you could easily add someone else. The only big change that's still left to come is the calendar release for scheduled domains. So domains who are waiting for a couple of weeks for changes to roll out, we're still rolling that out this week, and they should be able to see a really quick way to add a video call and join a video call right from the calendar.
That's great. It's yeah, these days it must be pretty great to be an IT admin. It's I would love to be able to do something awesome and not have to do anything in order to get it done. So that's I wish I could do nothing and still do awesome stuff at work. Sounds like a good job line.
Yeah, PM too, Rob.
Okay, let's have a look. Kind of along the same line, so kind of related to these changes, when is this going to take place? I think you said some of this is already rolled out, but when you talked about all these changes, when are these actually going to be rolled out to?
Yeah, I think one of the top questions we do get is things such as support or SLA, like when do those take effect? And the answer is at the same time, right from the end of last month. From the end of last month, if you're running into any problems, just give us a call. And if you are worried, and if you experience any downtime, which hopefully you shouldn't, you can easily check the app status dashboard to see how the service is doing, and let us know if you're experiencing any issues again. And one of the other questions we get is a lot of the mobile things. When are some of these accessible on mobile, on iOS and on Android? These changes are coming within the month or so with the next release that we're doing.
Okay, super. Next question is related specifically to Chromebox for meetings. So I guess I'll point this one in NVIDIA's direction. It's got to do with presentation. So how do I present any document from a Chromebox for meetings device?
Yeah, sure. So using the universal short URL, g.co/present, you can wirelessly screen share any document that you have by opening up a laptop, and then it automatically is presented and shared with the other participants in the Hangout session. Additionally, with the dual monitor support that we've rolled out, participants can see the presentation on one screen, on one display, and they can see the audience on the other display. So it's something that's very helpful and much more better real estate, screen real estate.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's certainly a lot of the feedback I had from some of the initial releases. So it's a super new feature. Next question. Okay, why should I pay for this when I can do basic video conferencing using Hangouts or a consumer video tool for free? Vidya, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, sure, I can take that. So the key thing about Chromebox for Meetings is it provides a very tight integration to Google Calendar and other services. So you can very easily collaborate. You get HD quality video, up to 15 video streams at a fraction of the cost if you compare it to other video conferencing systems out there in the market. Further, with a web-based administration console, you get all the manageability that you need. You can now manage these devices, control these devices, ensure that you have a highly secure platform for having secure video conferencing meetings. And above and beyond, we're constantly innovating in this platform, and all of this is available for this really low, under $1,000 price point.
Great. So while we're still on the Chromebox for Meetings theme, we got a question about Google Apps. So do you need Google Apps in order to use Chromebox for Meetings?
I can take that. Yeah, the answer is no. Chromebox for Meetings can absolutely be used by customers who do not have Google Apps today. Of course, like everyone else, you will have to supply us with a network domain when purchasing the Chromebox for Meetings system. And the reason we need a domain is so that you can manage these devices. You can log into the admin console, and you can go manage these devices and push policies to these devices, and that's the reason you need it. Of course, there are a few differences in experience compared to what you would see with that of a Google Apps customer. Without Google Apps, you can start a spontaneous meeting between Chromebox for Meetings devices with the organization. So if you remember in my presentation, we went through how Ronald and Rob can actually decide that they need a meeting name Tofu, and they can just type in this ad hoc meeting name called Tofu, and then automatically join the meeting. So that kind of a workflow is absolutely possible. You can also invite users to join a Chromebox for Meetings session from outside the company. So you can invite additional guests, and without the no Google Plus requirement, guests from outside the domain can easily join the meeting. And there's also an Outlook plugin that we have made available for Hangouts, which allows non-Google Apps users to automatically join a Hangout meeting when they are within an Outlook session.
Sounds great. Okay, let's take a look. I love this question. So this is one for Ronald, I think. Certainly one that I can identify with. You know, Ronald, especially in those larger meetings, you sort of get off to a great start, and then there's always one person who kind of maybe is disrupting the meeting, or they're just kind of being counterproductive. And maybe this was my feature request that happened, but I love this question. This person's asking, why would I need to eject guests from a Hangout? So I know the answer why I would like it, but maybe you can tell us more about this feature and how it's used.
Sure. I think as Hangouts becomes a more integral part of your business or your school or your classroom, for example, being able to have a little more control over the Hangout, participation of the Hangout is a lot of the requests that we've gotten. And what we want to do is begin extending a lot of those controls out there. So eject is probably the first one that it's probably the first of a series of these that we're hoping to get out. And one of those is not only if there's somebody disruptive, but if there is, for example, we frequently have meeting rooms that are still dialed into the meeting when the next meeting begins, and you have to say, hey, let's kick out that room. Another one is, let's say somebody continues to ramble on after already answering the question, maybe like 30 seconds ago. You could get them kicked. You could easily kick them out. And I'm looking at Rob, and if I probably continue, you'll get to see this feature in action. So I'll stop there.
Nice, nice. Okay, let's see what else we have here. I think we may have answered this during the presentation already, but there's a question around Google Plus. So the question is, do I need to use Google Plus in order to use Chromebox for meetings? So Vidya, do you want to just handle that? I think we've already covered this, but do you want to just handle that quickly?
Yeah, sure. So no, you do not need to enable Google Plus to be able to use Chromebox for meetings devices. Users can join a video meeting without a Google Plus profile as well.
Super. Okay. Let's talk about devices. So there's a question about it's again about Chromebox for meetings. I guess we could expand the scope of the question to include Hangouts. Does it work on any device, including my smartphone and tablet? So I'm guessing it depends what smartphone and tablets it is, but yeah. Let's talk about that a bit. Let's talk about what devices can use. Obviously, we know about the Chromebox for meetings device itself, but what about people who need to join meetings that do not have a Chromebox device?
So one of the biggest advantages of Hangouts is that it is completely interoperable with devices on any platform. So you can have users join meetings from a Chromebox or meetings room system, or it could be a tablet on the beach, or a laptop at home, or a phone from the road, right? So we support iOS, MacBooks, Chromebooks, Windows, Android. We support all these different platforms. And a key thing to note is that a video meeting can support up to 15 simultaneous video feeds.
Okay. Okay, so I think we touched on this a little bit in the Management Console section, but I think it may go beyond this. So we have a question. I think, Vidya, you handled this one as well. It's about upgrading. So how do I upgrade my Chromebox and Hangouts software in the future when new releases happen?
So one of the biggest benefits, again, of the Chromebox for Meetings platform is that you don't have to do anything. Everything is taken care of for you seamlessly, automatically, through the manageability that you get with Chromebox for Meetings and Hangouts. So as features are released and the software is improved, Google will automatically take care of the upgrades for you. It happens very seamlessly through the management of our platform. You will not be required to request upgrades. This will happen automatically, and your experience also will not be negatively impacted. Upgrades will not occur in the middle of the call, so that there will be no service disruption. Additionally, there is a feature in the Chromebox for Meetings Management Console where you can actually request that updates be scattered over a period of time so that you can actually conserve bandwidth. And all upgrades and changes will happen, will be batched, and it will be released once the service is dormant or it's idle or nobody is in call. So it's all taken care of magically. Great.
Okay, so let's talk about the users. We talked earlier about the number of participants being 15 for a meeting. So let's talk a little bit about that. So the question is, can the maximum number be increased? Why do we limit it? What if I need a larger meeting? So kind of three questions there, all related to the same thing, around the number of participants. And can it be increased? What if I need more? So which one of you wants to take this one?
I could take that, I think. In the consumer world, I think the maximum number of participants is 10. In the business world and the schools and education world, we definitely understand that we're going to need more folks in those. And the current limit today for our customers is at 15. And 15 was a number we saw was where productivity is actually maximized. Any larger, like a meeting, would be too large and not very productive. We have heard, of course, requests for larger meetings, and what we do currently offer is something called Hangouts on Air, which is really targeted toward the larger broadcast-style meetings, such as Netflix's investor relation calls or a public seminar or webinar that you're doing. What Hangouts on Air allows you to do is record that and put that onto YouTube. And you can make those videos private, but right now, but those are going to be on the YouTube platform. But we've always, definitely we've heard how to get larger meetings anywhere between the 15 number and the large number for Hangouts on Air. We're always considering this, and we're looking to scale, of course. But as of now, it's 15.
Okay, great. Yeah, I would say, like, even if you just take video conferencing out of the equation, like if you just have a meeting in a meeting room and you have more than 15 people, going to what you said around that optimal number. Even in real life, no video conferencing, you get more than 15 people in a room, it just starts getting counterproductive in any way. And certainly my own experience is it becomes difficult for decisions to be made and for true discussion to happen when you have like a super high number of people, and around about that number actually. So
definitely.
Yeah, I agree with that. Another question, maybe for Ronald still, is it possible to record a Hangout session?
Right, and I just coincidentally touched on that right before. With Hangouts on Air, we again allow for recording, but that recording stays on the YouTube platform. Yeah. We definitely heard requests of how to get that recording stored into places like Drive, etc. But as of now, this it's currently on the YouTube platform and really focused on the public broadcast pieces.
Cool. Next question is about equipment. So. Video, like in that very first slide, or one of the first slides you presented, you showed the Chromebox for meeting device with the speaker and microphone and camera, and this question is related to that. I'm just talking about using existing hardware. So the question is, can I use my existing hardware with Chromebox for meetings, or do I have to buy the whole bundle from Google? And I'm assuming this question is, when they talk about existing hardware, they're not referring to the actual Chromebox device, but I'm assuming it's the peripherals such as the camera, speaker, mic.
Yeah, this is a good question. It's actually come up fairly often, so I'm glad it's being asked here. So Google's bundled solutions include both the hardware and the software. We've chosen these set of peripherals with a lot of careful analysis and testing that's gone in our labs to optimize that we get the right quality of audio, the right quality of video. We take care of echo cancellation. We do a lot of quality testing that goes in and day out in our labs, and therefore we recommend that customers use this bundle for the best and optimal experience. Further, if there are issues with the video conferencing system and if you have to call in to support, our support line will be absolutely happy to help customers if it is with the existing bundle that we provide. If it's any other peripherals that's out there, it's very difficult for us to actually troubleshoot and also to determine if there is an issue with the hardware, or it's peripheral specific, or it's Google specific, or it's software specific. So it becomes really challenging. So we, however, do provide specifications for the display units because we do not provide the display with our bundle, and and all of this is documented in our website and the marketing site.
Okay, great. And I think along pretty much similar lines of existing hardware, what if I have an existing video conferencing solution? Can I integrate that with Chromebox for meetings?
Absolutely. We touched on this as well when we spoke about our list of partners. There are two most common protocols that are used in the video conferencing space today, which is SIP and H323, and our partnerships with existing interrupt providers, Video and BlueJeans, enables that. So both Video and BlueJeans have a solution for Hangouts, which allow Hangout participants to talk with any other participants who are on other H323 and SIP-enabled video conferencing systems. So absolutely, yes.
Okay, cool. We got a question about money. So how do conferencing services solutions like the high-end ones that cost over 50 grand compare with Chromebox for meetings. Vidya, do you want to take that?
Yeah, sure. I think we kind of, the entire theme for this session has been about, at Google, we definitely want to democratize the entire video meeting experience so that everybody can have access to high-quality, face-to-face video meetings from anywhere on any device and all the time. And therefore, we wanted to bring Chromebox for Meetings room systems. And this is really a dedicated, purpose-built system. It's designed for a meeting room, and it will match, if not do better, than all the other external systems out there at a fraction of that cost, at 1/10 the cost. And it provides high-definition video and audio quality with components that were carefully selected and are thoroughly tested in our labs to meet that high-definition quality and the best video meeting experience.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we got a question around non-web clients. So I'm assuming, this question is about people that want to access Hangouts but not through a browser. So the question is, how will Hangouts work for users accessing through non-web clients? Ronald, you may want to take this one.
Sure.
I'm not sure what I think they're meaning, non-browser access.
I'll just try and cover everything then. I think right now, non-web, I think we're all traditionally always thinking of ourselves in front of a computer, in front of a laptop. But nowadays, everyone is switching between different devices. Like, for example, we had a large customer who deployed tablets to every single person in their company, every salesperson in their company, for example. And being able to join from tablets, from mobile phones, from anywhere, or even from a meeting room using a Chromebox device is pretty key to kind of the video conferencing, face-to-face conversation. So with that being said, I think the desktop UI, of course, you can join via Hangout, from the Hangouts UI that everyone is well aware of. We also have Hangout apps for Android and iOS clients. And of course, again, with the meeting rooms, being able to set up, meeting rooms, or if you have one at home, for example, you could set up a Chromebox for Meetings unit so that you can actually join, from a different screen.
Cool, perfect. Okay, so we just having a look at some questions that have come in. Let's do got some Chromebox for Meetings questions. I think some of these we've already answered. Have a look through these. I think so. There's one that's kind of related, Vidya, to what we talked about, the non-supported hardware. The question is, are you going to add support for higher quality cameras? We have a USB pan-tilt zoom camera that would be great to use with Chromebox for Meetings, but is currently not supported. And then the question is, will Chromebox for Meetings be made available compatible with a better camera? And I think you already answered that, right? Like, we do a lot of testing, and interoperability with peripherals is pretty important for us.
Yeah, so I can definitely take that. So when we announced support for the for dual monitors, it was listening to customer feedback because we wanted to support the larger meeting room space as well. And as part of the effort, yes, we're absolutely looking at the next generation peripherals. We're looking at seeing how we can support pan-tilt zoom cameras. So it's definitely in the works.
Okay, cool. I think we've also covered this off. It's about Hangouts on Air. Are there plans to enable you to conduct a Hangout on Air from Chromebox for Meetings, which we can't today, but I guess the question is that something we've thought about or that we see a lot of customers asking for?
I think at the end of the day, being able to get more, the real need for what everyone is asking for is, how do I cram more people onto a meeting, whether it's for a webinar, whether it's for a giant, an all-hands meeting, etc. And it's something that Chromebox allows us to take one big step forward because you can cram more people into the room with the Chromebox, and some of the dual monitor support gets us to even larger meeting rooms. When it comes to more participants, it's something currently at 15. We're hoping to get larger. If it's appropriate, Hangouts on Air is going to be the way to go. You can have pretty much unlimited viewers almost on the YouTube platform, and beyond that, anything in between is something we're always looking at. But right now, it's currently at 15.
Okay, cool. I've got a question around bandwidth, and I think this question comes up pretty frequently. Are there any known limitations in terms of bandwidth required by the remote locations, for example? Are there any sort of considerations there that that have come up that maybe a best practice, or certainly my own observation is that I've had some Hangouts with people in countries with pretty limited bandwidth, and it's kind of adjusted the whole experience automatically for me. So my own experience is pretty good, but maybe Ronald, I don't know if you want to take this one and talk about this. Is this something you see come up pretty frequently?
Right. We've heard this as mentioned as a concern, but in practice, we actually see that most customers really don't see this as an issue. And the main reason for that is that the way Hangouts works is that we actually automatically adjust the bandwidth consumed by a Hangout. For example, I'm sitting in our corporate network and I'm gazing at incredible HD quality video on the current Hangout that we're in. But let's say you're viewing this or you're participating in a Hangout in a lower bandwidth environment. What we will do is automatically adjust the quality of the video and the frame rates until we actually get to something. And you can even go all the way down to audio only if things do definitely get bad. So it's something that we see that, and video, of course, mentioned earlier. Another big bandwidth items sometimes could be seen by when it comes to updates, but like again Vidya mentioned, we scatter those updates around, and also we don't do the updates in the middle of a phone call, obviously, or a video call.
Yeah, and also our help center clearly documents what the minimum bandwidth requirements are, so that's something that's also a reference material that you could always refer to when planning your infrastructure.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all we have time for today. So I'd like to thank you, Ronald. Thank you, Vidya, for spending the time with us and really helping us understand this a bit more and giving us some insight around how Google's making meetings just more awesome inside our customers' businesses. Yeah, and if people want to go and find out more, you can go to google.com/Chrome. And you can actually just navigate from there and find the business solutions and see the Chromebox for Meetings sites and navigate to that and find out more. So with that, I'd like to thank our audience as well for attending, and hope you have a good rest of your day. So thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.